Hello.
Hey Chris, it's Lisa.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to
My
meet you.
first time meeting you.
Okay, nice, welcome. Have you listened to
Thank
the
you.
talks much and listened to other other conversations I've had with people?
Yeah, I have.
Okay,
I did a couple of years ago, and then I sort of stopped, and I found in myself most of my or the seeking. It did go away, and
okay,
all my sort of issues melted away as they do.
yeah,
But
oh,
now I'm
fantastic.
trying to sort of. I've felt most of my life I was never sort of being true with the world or giving my authentic self.
Yeah,
uh, and sort of hid behind a mask. Um, but then I sort of see it's also so obvious now. But now I'm trying to like integrate my new self, which often doesn't really want to talk to people. Uh, I don't find much interest in sort of the mundane conversations.
mm,
Uh, but then just staying silent sometimes seems the wrong option as well.
mm,
Uh, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Navigating humans is complex, especially when you've had some shifts and there is more freedom in you. Mm,
Yeah, there's a lot of freedom in sort of my upper half, but a lot of because I think it's something that came from my really early childhood. This feeling like my true self wasn't good enough,
mm-hmm,
so I sort of put the outside onto the world and just sort of worked on myself on the inside. And now I
mm,
feel like I've come to the conclusions I was looking for on the inside, but not being able to connect it to the outside because I've been so disconnected from my human body, I guess, but more
mm,
always more identified with my true self.
mm. Yeah, that sounds like a great process that you're going through. Mm.
But the question I wrote to you earlier was that, like, did you ever try to explain your shift with your family or anything like that, or how did that work? That you sort of switch from identifying as a person to not really identifying, and it changes the way you interact with people.
Yeah, it does.
Uh,
Um,
but the people who you grew up with or raised you
yeah,
with, yeah,
I mean, like, I broadcasted it on the internet, so, there is
yeah, I
that.
think I don't know, I'm still afraid of that.
But but a lot of my friends and family don't watch the broadcast. But I found if I tried to
Yeah,
speak about it, people thought that I'd gone mad.
that's
Um,
exactly what I feel, so I haven't even bothered to try.
yeah, so I didn't. And everyone's going to see you the way that their brain works. So they're going to
Yeah,
project onto you whatever their projections are, no matter what you behave like. That's what I've found. So you can have really immaculate behavior with people. You can be like really kind and amazing to someone. They'll still see if they see devil, they'll still see devil in you.
exactly,
Um,
but they're yeah, blind to what they're seeing.
yeah. So because that also interested me, like for a while, like do they see that I'm more happy? And they can't because if they're not happy, you can't see that in someone else. They'll just project onto you that you're faking it or that you're fake or something because they don't feel that happiness.
Yeah, I agree.
So
Yeah,
it's like you just yeah, or that you're crazy, especially if you become like really free in the body, like you become really free with yourself, like you've done lots of psychological work and you like there's really an authentic self that comes out. It's quite different from the way humans behave, so then they'll just project onto you that you're crazy. So it's not so easy,
yeah, but they can do that. That's their
yeah, that's their issue. So, but it's not so easy in the sense that you're not going to like suddenly be running through poppy fields with people. It's you're interacting with a seeking energy. You're interacting with a seeking society. So it is really like you say, like taking it in, becoming clear and free in yourself, and then that's really beautiful what you're doing, like trying to be more authentic with other people, but there's always going to be consequences to that, and that's just the way it is. And those consequences might be painful or pleasurable. You know, like when I say there's consequences,
take them as they come.
Yeah, so if you feel more silent around people, more than likely that's going to make people feel uncomfortable, so they're going to distance themselves from you after a while.
Yeah, but I find it with my family. I wanna show my authentic self, but often I can't. I can't answer what they're saying in a normal way, because I'll speak in sort of a deeper sense, an answer to them, and it just, they don't understand, and then I have to sort of go back to pretending that I'm still Chris, but I don't really feel that inside.
Yeah, so it's like this joint karma, because it's like your karma in the sense that that's the family that you've got and that's the situation you're in, and it's their karma that they can't see and experience a deeper, freer you, but it's this joint karma. So, you know, there's a moving away from them, or there is the staying in contact and, you know, dealing with the consequences of being more authentically yourself.
Yeah.
You know, it's you're in a society that isn't free, and that took me a long time to really, for myself, like to really, my character energy, to really digest that, because I kept wanting to play with people in freedom.
Yeah, but it's hopeless. You're playing two different games.
Yeah, you're not going to do that.
No.
So but it's, and also like not owning that in any way. Like it's like, you could say it's two different games, but you could just say that that's the game that you're in, and then that's more ownership of it. Like that's the game that Lisa character is in. She's in a game where a lot of people that she interacts with aren't free. They will have moments of freedom, and there can be moments of pure laughter or pure joy or pure sadness with them. But that's the dance, that's the karma of this character and of this life. And you know, you got to allow your body to feel sadness, to grieve over that if it wants to grieve over that, to really come to accept that karma. And it's not really them versus you, it's the karma of this one life.
Yeah.
Like, and the reason I insist on that, on saying that, is because it would be easy to get into a mentality of me versus them. You know, me trying to be authentic and they're not, but they are what's appearing in the experience. And it's oneness' experience, it's one experience, it's consciousness' experience. So it's the character that's saying that, it's not consciousness that's saying that. So, and the character is the same as their characters. It's an appearance happening in this. I think this is a great question to bring up around Christmas, because everybody's normally with their family.
Yeah, or maybe they're staying away this year with the COVID.
Yeah, could be.
But my idea was more just to lead, like not try and explain anything to anybody, but more just lead by example, and be the stillness in the chaos, and let that be sort of explain yourself through that, through action more than through words.
It's still a story. It's just as it is.
Yeah.
Like, that's a comforting story. It's a nice idea. It's not wrong or anything, but it's just the way it is. And lead who? It's not our jobs to lead anybody. It's not our job to be example. It's not our job to be more free.
Yeah. And this is the problem when you start talking. It's hard to. It's impossible to explain what you want to explain, and as soon as you even open your mouth, it's
Yeah.
But there's nothing to explain in the end, but to try. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. But it's all your dance as that one. So it's like really coming to peace with that, and that this is the karma, this is the story of this life, until it changes, and then it's a different story. And then at the same time, it's no story, it's just this. And there isn't a them there and a you being authentic or anything.
No, of course not. But it's easy to know that in silence, but it's hard to yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I know I did have this idea, like in the beginning, that, you know, there would be this shift, and then I'd be running through poppy fields with everyone, and everyone would be like, it would, you know, and you'd, I just had this, I had this idea, this, it wasn't a conscious idea, you know, and there was a process of letting that go.
But it is, I guess, what you learn is it's much more of a falling away than a getting of anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice, Chris. I did actually find on the human level, understanding psychology. So the last like 6 years, I've really studied psychology.
Mm-hmm.
So understanding the psychology of people helped.
Yeah, I think the place I'm at now is that I'm 44 now, but I realized for my whole life up until maybe a month ago, I was very detached from my emotions and things like that, and more just sort of absorbing my feelings into my belly, but never really letting them be processed. So that caused a lot of just sort of stuckness in my life.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
But I didn't understand. I didn't even know what emotions really were until a few weeks ago. Because I just, as a kid, I just got really, really cut off, and then never. I remember friends of mine saying like, "Why do you never get angry, or why do you never look sad?" And I said, "I don't know. I just don't."
Yeah.
But now I realize I was just suppressing everything, and now it's trying to, yeah, understand that aspect of myself and everybody else, and it's much easier to connect to people from that on an emotional level than like on a thinking level, I think.
In psychology, I don't know, I've got terrible memory, I can't remember the name of it, but there is actually a this is like a coping mechanism that happens in early childhood, and there's an area of your brain that actually physiologically shuts off the sensations. For somebody,
yeah,
I didn't experience that, so I can't imagine it. And that I always assumed that everybody else had emotions, but it actually does completely cut it off.
Yeah, so I've always assumed that everyone didn't have emotions, and I couldn't really, you don't really connect on that level. And
you most probably thought that people that were very emotional were a bit crazy as well.
Yeah, or how they couldn't cope with things, but I was just stifling it all, but they were doing the better option.
We don't know the better option. Like, it could be, you know, like some people are really out of control of their emotions as well. Like their emotions really dominate their thought processes, so they're constantly like in hurricanes of emotions. So it's but yeah, what an amazing process to wake that part up in you, in the body. It's
just sort of happening now, and it's a whole new sort of way of life, is connecting to people on an emotional level, which I never.
Yeah, exciting.
And now I sort of, because I've come to more understanding on a different level, now I want to share that with people, but I need to figure out how to connect on the emotional.
This is why studying, there's a, if you go to my reference page on my website, there is a link to a therapist called Dr. Honda, and his web page is called Psychologist in Seattle, And he does these videos that are so amazing. And he's a couples therapist. And what he does is he comments on couples on reality TV shows. So I know that sounds really fake, like the reality TV shows, but it's so profound and deep. If you go in there and you go into their playlists, you can see playlists of particular couples, and he'll go through like the TV series they've been on and talking about their dynamics and how they're interacting. Mm-hmm. And you might find that really helpful because he speaks a lot about this. Like, it is more common in men to do this, to cut off. And this is why we get into these like really weird. So just so everyone knows, so before I carry on, I just want to say that I'm talking about the character now. I'm not talking about non-duality. So I'm just speaking about the character. So I just want to clarify that because often people are confused about the two different levels. So, so he speaks a lot about the detached personality, and often it does tend to be more of a male trend that does this because of the way our society conditions men, and maybe there's some sort of physiology in there. I don't know if anybody really knows.
For me, I find it's a lot from your father. If your father was cut off from his emotions, and because in early childhood you don't have that bond with him, that's where the sort of connection is broken.
Yeah, often.
And then if I didn't deal with it and then I had kids, I would sort of pass on the same sort of wound to them because I never understood it.
Yeah, I think that's like maybe a lot of the cases is this. And basically he talks about relationships, and often it falls into these two stereotypes. So then often the man thinks the woman's crazy, and then the woman thinks the man is unemotional, and this is a lot of where the conflict arises.
Yeah,
but the great thing about watching this TV show is you actually begin to see, because he's talking about the TV show and people acting on this TV show, you actually begin to see your mother's, your father's, your friends' reactions. And this can be very healing because it helps you then, or it gives you a reference point of how to then act with them in a more fulfilling way to get your needs and your wants met, and to also be more authentic. It has its limitations because our society is suffering and our society is separate and seeking, but it's super helpful. So I put it on my reference page, even though it's not non-duality, like on the human level. And often when you're going through the non-duality awakening, the human shifts a lot and changes a lot and settles down a lot. And it's super helpful to watch it and to see it and to see other people doing that, and how you escape through different behavior techniques and how conflict is created, how to establish your wants, your needs. I really recommend him. He's a really beautiful guy. His name is Dr. Honda, and it's psychologist in Seattle.
Because I like watching reality TV myself, and I think it's because I think all my life I got my emotional connection through TV. Because as a child I watched a lot of TV because I was just more left alone. And now I see it with my emotions, and I was like, oh, that's why I like all that, like the emotional TV shows, because I don't get it from people in person, but I get it from real emotion on TV, which the reality TV, it's like watching animals in a zoo. I like it, like for observation.
Yeah, you'll love this TV show, this YouTube channel then.
Yeah. But it's a real pleasure to get a chance to speak to you.
Yeah, thanks, Chris, for calling in. I really enjoyed speaking with you. Yeah,
I've never spoken to anyone about this because you can't, most people, everybody, they don't see it.
Whereabouts in the UK are you? Or maybe you don't want to expose that, but I was just thinking. Oh, sorry. Lisa, in Canada.
I don't know what my Skype says. Yeah.
I just see your accent sounded English to me.
It's a bit of a mixed accent. Like I grew up in Canada, but then a lot of my adult life I was living in sort of different parts of the world. I spent many years on that seeking pattern of thinking the next location is going to solve my problems, but that doesn't work.
Yeah.
But then I think I lived with English people for a few years, and then lived in the countries where people weren't speaking English. So I think my accent it more developed as an adult than was from anything before.
Mm.
And I like to explain to people it's like a dog when you see a dog and you can't quite guess the breed, but you can see little bits of other things. That's what my accent is like.
Yeah. 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 Mm.
But where are
Yeah.
you, in England or in France?
I'm in France at the moment. Yeah. I'm going back to England soon, hopefully, if the borders are open. Yeah. Um, but I was just going to suggest when I asked you about where you live is that there's many communities, and this might be really helpful as well around the world. You know, people that are more awake.
Yeah, that's what I feel like. Before this emotional realization, I never felt I could sort of get anything from other people because you were there was like a physical disconnect. Uh, but now I feel much more open to. This is why I can feel like I could call you because before I it just wouldn't it wouldn't happen. I couldn't speak so sort of freely.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But now, yeah.
It's been opened
Yeah, so
up.
I'm gonna look around and yeah, just not be afraid to be myself, which I did.
Yeah.
I did for many years.
Yeah, nice.
But it's quite a wonderful experience.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to be your first time.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice. Well, thanks for sharing that, Chris. I think a lot of people have found that helpful. Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah, nice.
But I think there must be more and more people, because I think with the world, the two extremes happen at the same time. So if there's so much suffering in the world, then there, on the other end, there'll be more and more people going the other direction too. I'm hoping.
Yeah. No, totally. I think so too.
Yeah. And these sort of channels and things are helpful just to, yeah, because most people can't find a teacher maybe near them, but just having people to keep steering them in the right direction is helpful.
Nice. Okay, Chris. Thank you for calling in. Lovely to speak with you.
Lovely to speak to you too. Enjoy your afternoon.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Bye.